So everyone went home. But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. And he stayed the night there, and the next morning he came back into the temple. Now as people were coming into the temple, they gathered around Jesus, and Jesus sat down to teach them. Now the scribes and the Pharisees brought to Jesus a woman who had been caught in adultery. And they set her in Jesus' presence, and they said to him, "This woman was caught in adultery in the very act. Now according to our law, Moses said she must be stoned. But what do you say?" And they said this to test Jesus, for they needed a reason to convict him. So Jesus crouched down and began to write in the dust with his finger. When they pressed him for an answer, Jesus stood up and he said, "Whichever of you is without sin, let him be the first to cast a stone at her." And then Jesus crouched down again in the dust and began to write in the dirt with his finger. And when they heard this, they started to leave, beginning with the older ones. They started to file out of there until Jesus was left alone with the woman in his presence. And he said to her, "Dear woman, has no one condemned you?" And the woman said, "No, my Lord." And Jesus said, "I do not condemn you either. Go your way, but do not sin again." Now Jesus again began to proclaim, and he said, "I am the light of the world. If anyone follows me, he will not walk in darkness, but he will have the light of life." Now the leaders of that place said, "You testify about yourself. Your testimony means nothing." But Jesus said, "Even though I testify about myself, and yet my testimony is true, for I know where I've come from and where I'm going. You do not know where I've come from and where I'm going. You judge by ordinary human standards. Not that I'm trying to judge anyone, but even if I do, my judgment is right. And I am not alone in this, but there is one who judges with me. Now it says in your law that 2 witnesses is enough. For one, I speak about myself, and one other who speaks about me is my Father." And they were saying, "Where is your Father?" And Jesus said, "You do not know me or my Father. If you knew me, then you would know my Father." So these are things that Jesus was teaching when he was in the treasury, in the temple. But no one arrested him, because his time had not yet come. And so Jesus was saying, "I will go away, and you will look for me, but you will not find me. And you will die in your sins. And where I am going, you cannot come." So they were saying to one another, "Does he intend to kill himself? What does he mean? Where I am going, you cannot come." And Jesus said, "I am from above, and you are from below. I am not of this world, but you are of this world." And so I was saying, where I'm going, I'm saying you will die in your sins. "For unless you believe that I'm he, you will die in your sins." And they said, "Who are you?" And Jesus said, "What have I been saying from the very beginning? I have much to say about you and much to condemn you for, but the one who sent me is true. I merely say what he tells me, and I speak it to the whole world." So, when you lift up the Son of Man, then you will know that I am he. For I do not come on my own initiative, but him I do as the Father teaches me. And he has not left my side, because I do the things that please him. Now they had not known that Jesus was speaking about the Father at that time. But people, when they heard these things, they started to believe Jesus. And so Jesus gathered around those few people who were believing in him, and he said to them, "If my word abides in you, then you will be my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Now they were saying to him, We are Abraham's children. We have never been slaves of anyone. So how is it that you now say, we will be free? Jesus said, anyone who sins is a slave of sin. The slave is a temporary member of his household, but the Son is a permanent member. And if the Son makes you free, then you will be free indeed. I know you are Abraham's children, but as it is, you are trying to kill me. It's because you do not have my word in your heart. I merely speak about the things which I have seen in the presence of my Father, and in the same way you do as you have heard from your father. And they said to him, Abraham is our father. And Jesus said, then do the things that Abraham did. As it is, you are trying to kill me. A person who has come to you with truth. Abraham did nothing of the kind. No, you are of your father. They said to him, we are not illegitimate children. God is our father. Jesus said, if God were your father, then you would love me, for I came directly from God. But I come not of my own initiative, but him who sent me. Oh, why is it that you do not understand me? It is because you cannot hear my words. You are of your father, the devil. You seek to do his desires. He was a murderer from the very beginning, and a liar. When he speaks a lie, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. You do not believe, even though I tell you what is true. Which one of you condemns me? Even though I tell you what is true, why don't you believe me? Whoever lives under God's rule hears the words of God, but you don't, because you aren't. And they said to him, are we not right to say that you are a Samaritan and have a demon? I have no demon. I seek to honor the Father, and yet you dishonor me. Seek to honor the Father, and yet you dishonor me. But there is one. I do not seek my own glory, but there is one who seeks after my reputation, and he works for it. If anyone keeps my word, he will not see death. Now they were saying, now there is proof right there that you have a demon. For Abraham died and the prophets died, and yet you are saying, if anyone keeps my word, he shall not see death. Do you think that you are greater than Abraham, who died? The prophets also died. Who do you think you are? Jesus said, if I speak about myself, my testimony is worth nothing. But there is one who speaks about me. He's the very one that you are calling your God. Abraham saw my coming. No, I'm sorry, you don't know him. I know him. If I said that I didn't know him, then I would be a liar like you, but I know him. And I keep his word. No, I keep his word. And they said, and he said, Abraham saw my arrival, he saw my coming, and he rejoiced, he was glad, he was ecstatic. They said, you are not even 50 years old. You're saying that you've seen Abraham? And Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say unto you, before Abraham was even born, I am. And at that moment, they picked up stones to throw at him, but Jesus hid himself from them, and he left the temple.